The next sentence says, He ascended into heaven and is seated at the right hand of the Father. One of the things to talk to the children about is that Christ ascended 40 days after the resurrection. So for 40 days, he was revealing himself in the resurrected state to the world around him, to the disciples, resurrecting people from the dead, showing them what the resurrection was about in terms of his physical reality, as well as obviously the transcendent reality of being in the resurrected state. When he ascended to the right hand of the Father to be seated there until the second coming. So what is he doing right now? He's seating at the right hand of the Father. He is waiting for the kingdom to come, right? For the actual fulfillment of his promise that he will bring all of us with him into the kingdom in one way or another. Whether we have passed on from this life, or obviously in the final coming, when he will take all those who believe in him into the kingdom. Obviously, one aspect to talk to the children about based on that is to talk to them about the second coming, that Christ will come again to judge the living and the dead, which of course happens at the end of the creed, so you can also wait for that as well, or do a little prelude if you'd like. Finally, to talk to them about receiving a blessing from a priest, and obviously doing their cross with their right hand, that it is the right hand of God that protects us, that binds us, and that the power of God comes from his right hand, and that we utilize our right hand to obviously do our cross and to receive blessings from a priest who also bless with their right hand. One of the things that I tell the little kids, and if you'd like to do this with the big kids, you can as well, is that to ask them, maybe even at the beginning of the class before you start the lesson, where's Christ right now? Right? They're going to tell you everywhere. They're going to tell you here. They're going to tell you in our hearts. They're going to tell you all different kinds of places. And then you could tell them, well, actually in the creed, it tells us specifically where Christ is. And ask them if they know. Usually they don't, although some kids might know. And then the answer obviously is that Christ is seated at the right hand of the Father. And so one of the ways that we can make that a present reality for ourselves is to create a seat for him. So we can create a throne, a little seat for him, armrest optional, and then we can ask the priest to offer Christ to us, a blessing, right? So when we go like this to a priest knows to bless a person. And so we go like this, and the priest makes this anagram, Jesus Christos, right? And so when the priest blesses you, we know that it is Christ who is blessing you, not the priest, right? So Christ comes and he sits in the throne, right? He blesses us because his presence is a blessing to us. And he comes and he sits in our throne, and then we kiss his feet, or him in general, right? We kiss the hand of the priest, which is actually Christ, right? And so this is how we receive a blessing, but it also has this beautiful connection to the Ascension, and that Christ is seated at the right hand of the Father. So when we want him to come into our life, right? Let's at the very least make him comfortable and make him, in his usual state of being, which right now he is being seated at the right hand of the Father until the second coming.